everybody, this is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited Magazine, and today we're going to continue with another edition of building your Scruggs style vocabulary. And today, like the last two lessons, we're going to still be in the playing of the G chord predominantly. Okay. Later on, we'll do some C stuff and some D stuff, and then we'll start to put it all together. But today we're going to do a few more phrases over G so that you can continue to build your Scruggs vocabulary. Okay? The first one is really common, and you'll see it all over the place. Okay? You can read it from the tab sheet that you can download from the lessons page of the Bluegrass Unlimited Magazine website. If you're watching this on YouTube, navigate over to bluegrassunlimited.com, click on the lessons page, and there's a PDF you can download. But it's just a standard. Now, some things to say about that. Like we said before, you can slide from 2 to 3, or you can slide from 2 to 4 on any of these slides that we have in any of the licks that we're going to have today. You can slide 2 to 3 or 2 to 4. Now, this particular lick you can also hammer. Option to hammer from 2 to 3 instead of slide from 2 to 3 or slide from 2 to 4. You could also, instead of playing this E note here, you could pull that off. Okay? So there's lots of variations of any of these licks that you could use at any given time, just to provide variety, or if some particular lick fits the melody better, you can try any of those. So the first 4 licks, that's the first one, are going to be similar in that you can exchange hammers for slides. You could slide, if you're going to slide, you can slide from 2 to 3 or to 2 to 4, or instead of playing this E note here, you could pull that off, or you could just play it open. Just play it as a D note. So lots of variations, lots of options here. So the second lick is going to go like this. Really similar licks. See, we have this in the same place, and we have this E in the same place. We're just changing the roll. And a lot of times you'll do that again. You'll do it for variety, or you'll do it to fit the melody in better. Depending on where the melody notes land, you may need to change your roll around the other aspects of a certain phrase in the Scruggs vocabulary. Okay? The next lick is real similar, but it has a little bit different timing. You'll notice in this one, that slide is a 16th note. It goes pretty quick. Okay? Sometimes people will tab this as a 16th note. Sometimes they'll tab it as an as 2 8th notes, but have this note on the D string played at the same time as the slide. I think it comes out about the same timing-wise either way. This next one doesn't have that 16th note, and it leaves out the note afterwards on the D string. It goes. Just a little bit of a timing variation, but it might fit the song better depending on what you're doing. Okay. Now the next one, the fourth variation of this, is going to be where instead of playing this second D note there, I'm going to play a quarter note. And again, I can not play that E note. I can play it open. All 4 of those licks are really similar. And like I said, you can play the E note, you could pull off the E note, you can play it as an open D, you can hammer or slide on that 2 to 3, or you can slide 2 to 4. You could leave that second note out and just play a quarter note. There's a lot of variety that you can throw into any of these licks. I was just wanting to show you some examples on that particular lick that you could play around with. Okay. Now similarly, these next 2 licks, again, you could go hammer, you could go 2 3 slide, 2 4 slide, you could play the E note, you could leave the E note off, you could pull off on the E note, any of those things. It's a similar lick, but instead of starting with an open G doing the slide in the middle, we're going to start with the slide. So we're going to go, or you can hammer any of those things, okay? But it's a similar lick, but you're moving that 2-3 slide up to the front instead of playing it in the middle. You're still playing, or not, that E note, or pulling off that E note or not. The next lick is a similar idea, but it's going to be, again, changing the roll around. So instead of what we just played, we're going to go. So the 2-3 slide, or the 2-3 hammer, or the 2-4 slide, whatever you want to do, is in the same place as the last lick, and the E note is the same place as the last lick, whether you want to pull it off or not, but we're changing the roll around it. And again, it's for variation, or when the melody note's going to fit better in that roll, okay? So that's those two. The first four are kind of similar variations, and those two are kind of variations each other. The next set of licks are going to start with this 2-3 hammer on the B string, okay? Similar to what you might find as an opening lick to Foggy Mountain Breakdown. You could go, okay? Or you could go. So the first one, I'm playing the D note after each hammer. The second one, I'm not playing the D note after the first. It's a longer hammer, and then I'm playing. What I could also do is leave my finger down on that D note there. If the particular song called for that, you wouldn't have to. You could leave it open, like so. Instead of going, you could go. That's another way you could play that lick, not necessarily Foggy Mountain Breakdown. Or playing the D note. That lick is used a lot in various things. Another way to do it, instead of hitting this D note, you can put, sometimes that low D note might work, sometimes the G note might work. It just depends on what, again, where the melody is and what kind of song you're trying to fit this around in. I want to emphasize the point that instead of just playing lick after lick after lick, you learn this vocabulary and then learn how to modify it in various ways so that it better fits the song. That's the idea, is not just throw canned licks into the songs. You can throw licks in if you learn how to modify them to better fit the melody. That's the idea here. So the next lick, number 11, is starting with that G note and going into, and then pulling off, and then sliding. Okay? You did a similar lick. If you watched my video on theme time, there's a similar lick in theme time, and there'll be a similar lick that we'll use this another time in another song next time. We'll try to put a lot of these licks together in context of some songs the next time around. So that one, again, we're throwing that 2-3 in there. Starting out with this. Just like so. And again, you can throw these 2-5 slides in anywhere, just with your regular rolls. Your 2-5 slides, your 2-4 slides, your pinches, that kind of stuff you can weave in and around all these other licks, again, to fit the song and to fit the melody. The next one is similar. We're going to start out. Last time we went, but this time we're going to just go and throw that 2-3 pull right in there. Again, variations on all these is you could, right there I was starting with the G quarter note. I'm going to start with a high D, start with a low D, start with a B. You can start with any note. Again, that first note on the downbeat is going to usually be an anchor note to your melody. So you could throw any of those in that fit the melody and then throw that hammer idea afterward, like number 12 on your sheet, okay? Okay, so for today I think we'll stop right there. I'm trying to keep these videos right around 10 minutes. So we got 12 licks. Some of them are similar, some are variations of each other, but 12 licks to work on. I know there's not a lot of context in this lesson, but work on those licks, download the tab sheet, and work on those licks, get those under your fingers, try all the variations, try the variations I talked about and the variations that are on the sheet. Next time I'll give you some more licks and we'll try to string some of these licks together next time so you have a little bit of context. And then the time after that, I think what I'll do is show how to use a lot of these licks that we're doing now in songs like Blue Ridge Cabin Home and 9 Pound Hammer and things like that. So we're building to where we can string these licks together, and then we're building to a context of putting them together to play a song. So bear with me and we'll get there. Again, I just want to keep these lessons about 10 minutes long, and every week we'll just keep building and building, and after we get the context of the G licks, then we'll put in some C licks and some D licks and add context to that so that you can start to see how building your vocabulary over chords and having a knowledge of how to vary those licks to fit melody will help you put together your own solos for bluegrass tunes in the Scruggs style. That's the goal here, is to build a vocabulary, learn how to vary that vocabulary so you can mold it around melody, and then learn how to put it all together to create your own solos. That's where we're going here, and eventually do the same thing in real time, which would be improvisation. Okay, so bear with us. We'll get there. Okay, so this is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited magazine. We'll see you next time.